Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Ketholena with the evening news. The headlines. Union Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar says government has taken measure for labour welfare and employment generation during COVID-19. Deputy Chief Minister Patton calls on Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, discusses developmental projects for Nagaland. Nagaland Government partially lifts ban on import of pigs. And Nagaland's COVID-19 tally climbs up to 5,263. Union Labour and Employment Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar today said a number of unprecedented steps have been taken by Union Government for labour welfare and employment, including migrant workers across India during COVID-19 pandemic. He said labour is in the concurrent list and therefore both state and central governments can legislate on the issues. Further, most of the Central Labour Acts, including the Migrant Labour Act, is being implemented exclusively by the state government. As per the provisions of the Migrant Labour Act, registration of the migrant workers is to be done by the respective state governments and the data has to be maintained by the state governments. However, in the unprecedented scenario of COVID-19, Ministry of Labour and Employment took the initiatives to collect the data of migrant workers who are going to their home states during lockdown. On the basis of information collected from various state governments, around 1 crore migrant workers have gone back to their source state during COVID-19. Immediately after the lockdown, directions were sent from Ministry of Labour and Employment to all the state governments and union territories, instructing them to provide financial assistance to construction workers from Building and Other Construction Workers Cess Fund. Till date, about 2 crore migrant workers have been provided 5,000 crore rupees directly in their bank accounts from Building and Other Construction Workers Cess Fund being maintained by various states. Deputy Chief Minister Patton yesterday called on Union Minister of State for Development of Northeastern Region donor Dr. Jitendra Singh and discussed a wide range of issues related to development projects and proposals submitted by the Nagaland Government. During the meeting, Dr. Jitendra Singh pointed out to Patton that, as a special consideration and priority, the centre has sanctioned the second government medical college for the state within a short span of 3 years. He said, "It is an irony that for over 70 years after independence, Nagaland was possibly the only state in the country which did not have a single medical college of its own, which led to inconvenience to the patients as well as aspiring medicos who were constrained to travel outside the state." Dr. Singh further noted that the 2 centrally funded medical colleges are an indication of central government's priority according to the northeastern region and the peripheral far-flung states like Nagaland. Deputy CM also took up with the donor minister for the state projects to be executed under NERDS, Northeast Region Development Scheme. Patton expressed keenness to expedite the road project of Chandang Sadal to Noklak, which is about 31 km. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana (PMUY) commenced from 2016 to provide deposit-free LPG connections to adult women of poor households. The target of the same was achieved on 7 September 2019. Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas Dharmendra Pradhan today, in a written reply at the Rajya Sabha on cylinder distributed under PMUY during Corona crisis, presented the details of state and union territories on refill issued and amount spent from April to August this year under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana to the PMUY beneficiaries. For Nagaland State, the amount spent by industry on free refill scheme under PMGKY is 5.93 crore rupees, while refills delivered against PMGKY advance given to the beneficiaries are 75,654. Today is International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer. In a tweet, Union Minister Prakash Javadekar said, World Ozone Day is observed to create awareness related to climate change and ozone depletion. He asked people to look for ozone-friendly, HCFC-free, energy-efficient appliances to minimize ozone layer impact. You're listening to the news from All India Radio, Kohima. Nagaland government has partially lifted the ban of imports of pigs with immediate effect. In a notification, the ban was partially lifted for import of healthy and certified pigs from Punjab and Haryana, except Assam, Arunachal, and states having cases of African swine fever. The decision to partially lift the ban was taken keeping in view of the economic importance and demands of the farmers and market to ensure food supply without compromising biosafety and taking into account that there is no cases of African swine fever in Nagaland. Nagaland reported 34 positive cases of COVID-19 today, taking the total tally to 5,263. The new cases were reported from Dimapur with 31 cases, 2 in Mon and 1 in Kohima. In addition, 41 patients have recovered from COVID-19, 23 from Kohima, 14 from Dimapur, 2 from Mawakchun, and 1 each from Mon and Pek, taking the recovery rate to 75.39%. The state has now a total of 1,261 active cases, while 3,968 have recovered. So far, out of 15 registered deaths, 10 persons have died due to the infection, while 5 were not COVID-related. Meanwhile, 19 have migrated to other states. Development Forum Education Sector of Nagaland District has decided to resolve in improving the quality of education in the district. In a meeting held yesterday under the chairmanship of Deputy Commissioner Nagaland, Rennie Welfred, the forum discussed on district vision document for quality education for all, with a vision to have a 100% pass in class 10 and 12 in the government schools and to improve quality education at the village level with focus on preschool and preliminary education to set foundations. It also discussed on improving integrated basic life skills at the school level, Anganwadi, Village Health Nutrition Day, Sakhi One-Stop Center, Mahila Shakti Kendra, and Nehru Yuva Kendra. The forum also decided to bring out progress report in a quarterly format on various education quality improvement parameters and infrastructure. Nagaland will roll out a campaign, Sabki Yojana Sabka Vikas, from 2nd October to 31st January next year. The campaign will be carried out by Department of Rural Development. During the campaign, structured Gram Sabha meetings will be held for preparing the village development plan for the next financial year 2021 to 22. Some of the activities to be taken up are strengthening role of about 31 lakh elected representatives and 5.25 crore self-help groups women under DAY NRLM, evidence-based assessment of progress made in 2020 to 21 and proposals for 2021 to 22 in all 29 subjects of 11 schedule, public information campaign among others. Meanwhile, a one-day training for line department nodal officers was held today at Kohima. The training was conducted as per the Nagaland state calendar for the People's Plan campaign on Gram Panchayat Development Plan and Mission Antyodaya Survey 2020. And Directorate of Technical Education has informed all the JEE Main 2020 candidates that Central Seat Allocation Board NEUT 2020 have come up with a tentative schedule for registration and online counseling for the state reserved quota seats allotted to Nagaland by the Ministry of Education. In this regard, students are advised to visit the official website of the department www.dtenagaland.org.in time to time for any changes or updates on the proposed schedule. The seat matrix allotted and reserved for the state is made available in the department's website. It is informed that the eligibility criteria for admission have been relaxed as recommended by CSAB 2020. JEE Mains 2020 qualified candidates will only need a passing certificate in Class 12 examination irrespective of the marks obtained. To end the news, the headlines here again. Union Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar says government has taken measure for labor welfare and employment generation during COVID-19. Deputy Chief Minister Patton calls on Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, discusses developmental projects for Nagaland. Nagaland Government partially lifts ban on import of pigs. And Nagaland's COVID-19 tally climbs up to 5,263. That's all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.